defiling this report. He says that, everything is, hold on, here comes Wes.
Coming through.
Whoa.
All right, try this again.
Yeah, but he, the first thing is he sees that, oh boy, I hope it goes, well, Wes is dancing. Anyway, so he's there in front of everyone. He's, like I said, he's stumbling over his words. Evidently, we're not going to be able to do this. I don't know what the deal is. But, we just got to keep going on.
Yeah, let's roll with it.
But he's out in front of the cameras. He's just so excited. And same thing with Feinstein. She's up there giving her, her thoughts on it. And she's implicating. What I love is that she's using the White House name so that she can try to somehow implicate them that the investigation wasn't good enough or something like that. Yet she doesn't have any proof, and she does follow it up with it could be
right
or something like that. But the whole reason is that it gives them something to run with in a headline.
Yep.
And that's obnoxious. And I don't want, we are on the hot sheet and we've got the freestyle coming up, so we don't want to get too crazy on this, but it's just dang obnoxious why they got to make it again about political sides and digging at each other and things like that rather than keeping the focus on what the whole point of this is. Yeah. So it's I don't know. Like you said, it's not going to quit though.
No, yeah, it's
never.
So anyway, what I don't think we mentioned is that the vote for wrapping up the debate is taking place now, or tomorrow, being Friday when you're seeing this or hearing this, and if everything goes through, which they think it will because they've got the majority, obviously,
yeah.
The vote to end debate will pass, and therefore then the legit vote, the confirmation vote itself, could happen as soon as Saturday morning.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw somebody actually say that they thought it would be possibly it would be all done by Sunday.
Yeah.
So we'll see if that's that's something we'll talk about on Monday, I'm sure. Right?
Oh yeah.
And see how that goes.
Yeah.
Well, this story that came out, I believe this came out yesterday, right?
Yeah.
The story about President Trump and the money laundering that his family used, or basically participated in when they needed to have some kind of tax write-off or something like that. Why don't you tell us about that?
So the claim is that they set up, actually first this started back when Trump was a child. His dad started giving him these gifts of millions of dollars in order to avoid paying taxes on them.
Yeah.
And then as he got older, he and his siblings, they started, I'm assuming the father did it because I think they were still young. Fred, yeah. Started setting up what they claimed to be sham corporations to hide this money behind. All told, they're claiming that it was over $400 million that he basically passed on to his kids to avoid paying taxes on. Of course, then Trump comes along and denies everything. His statement that I heard was kind of interesting is he said that this story has already been, run through the media years ago kind of thing. It's old news and it's been debunked according to him. And then now his attorney, who successfully represented Melania Trump in a defamation case against The Sun in the UK. They sued The Sun.
Oh, yeah.
Saying that she was like a call girl or something like that, and they sued her for defamation, and they won.
Which is an incredibly hard thing to do. Anyone that knows about defamation, it is so hard.
Especially with a public figure.
Exactly.
Even harder. So they won that suit. So the same lawyer that won that suit for Melania is now threatening the Times, saying if you don't issue a full retraction, we're coming after you, kind of thing. So that's going to be interesting.
Well, I've heard stories about it in the past that he didn't, not so much, to this degree that, hey, this is exactly what happened, but I've heard that he wasn't exactly the self-made man that he
Oh yeah,
comes off as.
definitely dad's money. Yeah.
Because he always said that he got a $1 million loan, I believe, in 1979, and that's how he got his start.
Right.
Well, if he was receiving, and I mean, I can't believe that the Times would run with a, 15,000 word?
It was a big one, yeah.
Article without having the statements to back it up, and not being tax statements or something like that. But, again, they're trying to go after him. They're trying to, defile him as much as they can. And 15,000 words, hell, I didn't know that they could print that many words on one sheet of paper.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was 8 pages on that paper. So I don't know, but It was pretty crazy. And what did they say he had? How much was he worth by the time he was 18?
Yeah, I remember
millions.
Yeah,
and
oh yeah,
millions
yeah.
of
I
dollars.
remember seeing the number. I can't pull it off the top of my head though.
And then because it was run through all 4 of the kids, because I believe he's got 3 brothers and sisters, right?
Right, that's right.
So, well, number 3 here is this one's kind of a. I bet you she's around. This is a Chinese actress that has been missing since July, but she's wanted for tax evasion, June or July, one of the two. I can't remember.
July, missing
July.
since July. Yeah.
And she's wanted for tax evasion to the tune of like $125 million.
129. Yeah.
129.
Yeah. And I actually didn't even know about this until a few days ago. Dennis Miller was talking about it on his podcast.
Oh, really?
I was listening to
Shout
it.
out
I
to
thought,
Dennis.
yeah, I thought, whoa, that's kind of weird. I never heard of this, so I went and dug it up, and sure enough. And the reason it really caught my attention is when he said her name. It makes
I
you
know
chuckle.
that was it Bing Bing or
Fan, first
Bing
name
Bing?
is Fan, last name is Bing Bing. Or I guess in Asian cultures it's reversed name-wise, so last then first typically.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, so Fan Bing Bing is her name, and she is big time over there.
Huge.
She was in X-Men, one of the X-Men movies. She's one of the biggest Chinese movie stars / spokespeople, actresses, what have you. She's got a huge sponsorship with Mercedes and a big sponsorship with Cartier.
Which, somebody at that level you can absolutely see.
Yeah.
The one, keep
No,
going.
yeah, so the Chinese government is accusing her of not paying taxes on $129 million worth of earnings, and nobody's seen her since July. So it's a little interesting. So you want two schools of thought. Did the Chinese off her because she didn't pay taxes, or did she go in hiding or whatever? But then the ending of the story, or the ending of the statement is, and it's hard to believe the Chinese when they would say something like this. They said if she owes up to her stuff, then they won't press any charges.
Yeah, she has to pay it by December 31st,
Yeah.
I believe. I don't think she's the only one that's implicated
Right.
in this type of thing, because what, from the sounds of it, is that they use 2 different types of contracts. They have a contract for what shall actually be paid, and then she has a contract which will actually be turned. They called it a yin-yang contract, that they'll actually turn in to the Chinese authorities for her taxes. Now, I thought that one of the most interesting things about this story was that it tied into this whole social media, or this social ranking system that the Chinese have, that we talked about, I think, a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
She actually has a score of 0. That may tie into
the social scorecard. Or
yeah, the
whatever it was,
social the social scorecard. Her score was a 0, and so that may give a little credence to your theory that maybe she's not with us anymore.
Yeah.
Because the last time she posted anything or was seen in public was at a children's hospital or something. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, and I don't know that we'll follow up on this so much as it's just kind of a little international intrigue type thing. So number 4 here is this one, because I got hit by this. Facebook is maybe compensating folks for this monster data breach that they didn't just discover it, but it happened for quite some time, and now maybe Burgerville's going to have to pay me too. So anyway, tell us about that.
So this is going back to the Facebook data breach that was announced, a couple weeks ago, maybe? Something like that? When they first...
Well, it's hard to keep them all.
Yeah, exactly.
There's so many of them. I think we're past all the fingers out
Yeah.
of them.
So this one in particular affected 50 million users, and I think I first read about it about a week or 2 ago, this latest installment of data breaches. And they've now admitted that this breach goes as far back as June of 2017, so over a year. And now they're saying that if users that had their data breached and compromised, if they can prove that there was harm done to them because of it, they may be awarded up to $8,000.
Now, the one big caveat to this is that this is under European Union rule, not
Right.
under United States
Right.
rule. So, because I think they said it was 6,000 pounds
Or euros, I think.
Euros,
Euros
yeah.
with 8,000 US equivalent, yeah.
And it's some kind of, actually, it's from what we read, it's a very far-reaching law, because in the past it would have been very hard to, you had to prove that Facebook caused you some kind of harm from this data breach, and now it's like, if you can prove that you were under distress.
Yeah, it was.
Which
They
I
used
thought
the
was
weird
like,
word distress. Yeah.
how crazy is that they can use that big of a, not word, but such a wide ranging word for what you could say, yeah, I was stressed out on, July 15th that something may have happened. But all of my stuff got reset because I think you're right, it was last Friday. I got logged out, and it was 90 million subscribers, I believe, which is still only, 1/5 of their subscriber base or something. But, so yeah, if I'm going to be getting $8,000, I wish that they would have included some information on how this would be impacted in the United States and how our laws will, and they did say that it would be beneficial to be in kind of a class action type thing. So we'll keep an eye on that one, because if it does turn out to be something that has some kind of implications in the United States, I think it could be something that we want all of our VALs, our viewers and listeners. I just came up with that earlier this week. Yeah. Our VALs to hear about, so that maybe we can start the class action.
There we go.
So, number 5 here is that we have a new record for the worst batting average in the history of baseball. This one makes the Mendoza line look like a Triple Crown winner.
Yeah,
My goodness,
exactly.
168.
I thought we'd throw a sports one for the first time in a while. So this is Chris Davis, who plays first base for the Baltimore Orioles, and he set a record that you don't want to set.
No.
The previous record, and it's interesting you mentioned Mendoza, because that's the known plateau of the 200 batting average, but they reference the 200 batting average, but it's not Mendoza. And for the previous record, it was Don Wirt from the 1968 Tigers hit 200 on the season. So I don't know where that Mendoza reference comes into things, because that's what I always heard is Mendoza.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Anyway, so the previous lowest batting average across the entire season was 200, meaning you hit the ball 20% of the time. Mm-hmm. So Chris Davis shattered that mark and finished at a cool 168 on the entire year. It's like, I don't even know how that's possible.
Neither do I. And now we do need to give a little reference that it's a minimum 500 plate appearances. So it's not like somebody, not somebody that just came up. I thought Buck Showalter's quotes on him were not funny, but that, because they gave him the last 2 weeks of the season off to get his head together. You may want to have done that back in August or something.
Well, and Showalter's got time to get his head together now too, because he got 86.
Did he get 86 today?
Yesterday, I think. Yep. So he gone.
Yeah.
But to add insult to injury with Chris Davis is not only did he set the record for the all-time lowest batting average, he's making a cool $23 million per year. And he has another 4 years left on his contract. And for those of you who may not know baseball as well as other sports, unlike other sports, baseball's contracts are 100% guaranteed.
Absolutely.
Unlike football, which can be partially guaranteed or whatever, but baseball 100% across the board. So they could cut him tomorrow and they owe him 4 years salary at $23 million a year.
Yeah, they said the total left on his contract was $92 million.
Yeah, that's nuts.
That is what blows me away, is that, and we're not going to get into the debate on whether it should be guaranteed or not, because that's another story for another discussion for another time. But that is pretty incredible.
Yeah.
But hey, that's part of the problem with these long-term contracts. We see it with almost all those guys that sign the 10-year contracts. A-Rod. One of your boys who plays for the Angels now.
Yeah, the Cardinals are smart enough not to play that dog and pony show.
That was a great, they didn't bow to Boris. I mean, and that's what it comes down to. Scott Boris, the agent for Albert Pujols. And it was, they wanted 10 years and $300 million?
It's something in that
Something
neighborhood.
like that.
Yeah.
And they didn't even know how old Pujols was.
Right.
They still don't know, really how old he is. And so, and the same thing for anyone in the National Football League. There's a reason that we have what's called the contract year. Because that contract year, there is more motivation than any other year. It's usually, 3 to 5 years after they've broken into the league. They've had their rookie contract, and now they're going to get paid.
Yeah.
And so they work their rear ends off so that they can get that big contract, and then it's just like everything else. They're skating.
Just easy street. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And they're not going to work for it. So that's, I don't know. We'll see. And I'll bet we're going to see some kind of resurgence, because they may find some kind of reason to get rid of a little bit of that money or cut him or something. No one's going to take him. They can't trade him.
They can't trade him without to eat most, if not all, the salary if they try to deal with him.
Wait a minute. I'll bet you the Mets will do a deal for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's where all the old players go to die.
Totally off subject. A side note while we're on sports here before we move on to the freestyle. Dennis Miller today, the most hilarious thing, they were talking NFL and they got to the subject of the Jets and how bad the Jets are.
After the first game, they were winning the Super Bowl.
And so he said that Sam Darnold re-enlisted at USC because they're a better team and he gets paid more there. It was it was classic. It was so awesome.
That's classic Miller too. You've been hitting up the Dennis Miller podcast.
Love that guy. Yep.
Yeah, he's pretty funny. I like him because, for the reason that most people don't like him, I like his highbrow humor.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that I understand it, but he's got the knowledge, and don't be afraid to show off your intelligence, and he's masterful with it.
And one of the reasons I like him, again, sorry about the side tangent, is that he runs a totally low budget operation, much like we do. He's got a producer that, and they're ironically they are set up to take people calling in, but other than that, it is bare bones. Like, they have mic troubles all the time, so you hear him like tinkering, and he gets up and goes to the bathroom, and so he has his producer start talking to fill time, and you can hear him walking out and closing the door to go to the bathroom. It's just totally laid back, low budget kind of stuff. It is hilarious.
How long is this podcast? I mean, how many minutes?
An hour.
Is it an hour?
He does it twice a week. I think Mondays and Wednesdays are when he drops twice a week. And I think they record them both on Monday. They record 2 hours worth on Monday, then chop it and do a second release on Wednesday, I think. And the other thing was, one of his interviews, because he brings in guests frequently, is he had the mics totally died before they started, and so they were recording on his MacBook, just using the built-in mic. And he said he and his guests were sitting with their heads like 4 inches away, talking into the MacBook so they could pick up the voice. It was just classic. So awesome.
I love that, because you guys haven't gotten the picture of me behind the scenes yelling and screaming, not very loud, at my computer because of microphone issues, and Wes literally can see the steam coming out of my ears when it happens, because it's so aggravating that these computers can do this to us. But how many guests does he usually average? Does he have a guest every show?
No. I would say he probably goes 2 or 3 shows in between. So basically, he'll have a guest on, and then like the next 2 or 3 shows, he'll just freestyle it, and they'll just talk current events and whatever. Between he and his producer, they kind of banter back and forth, just like we do. It's just, even though he's the other guy's his producer, Christian, he still chimes in a lot. So they have like a back and forth banter. But I would say maybe one out of every 3 or 4 shows he'll have a guest on.
Are they famous?
Yeah, they're mostly celebrities,
really? People
that he met through. Well, we talked about, he has had, since he was on SNL a long time ago, he's had Dana Carvey and John Lovitz on, a lot of the old SNL guys that come on there. So yeah, he's got some good guests that come on. It's really cool.
I'll in the show notes when this show drops tomorrow, I'll put in some information about the Dennis Miller podcast, because hey, everyone out there, we want to spread the good love. If they're good at what they do at this, everyone's got ears, everyone's got an hour to listen. I tell everyone about the Micro podcast. I'm in love with that podcast, because this is freestyle time, so we can do as we please. But it's what I love about it is that it's so easily consumable, and he is such an amazing writer. And I'm sure we've probably talked about it, but it's only 10 minutes long, and he is so good at what he does to wrap that up. But I was telling my dad about it last night. You don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, it's like watching a suspense movie. You don't know what happens till the very end. Yeah.
I've been able to, because he's foreshadowing most of the time in the story. And a few times, because I'm familiar with what he's talking about to some degree, I've been able to pick up on it. But by and large, I was listening to one the other day with, the subject was Donald Sutherland. And if I had been familiar with mid-70s type films, or if I was my age now back then, I would have probably known who it was. But no, it's pretty great. And so it's 10 minutes long. Occasionally he goes to 11 or 12, but it's really neat. And so if you're driving somewhere, you got 30 minutes, you can crank 3 of them out.
Yep.
And so, and he's along the lines, I think Paul Harvey is, who he really, and I know we've talked about it, but Paul Harvey is who he really kind of patterns his even his style behind,
right,
and the way he writes. So Anyway, well, it is time for the freestyle. We haven't had it in a couple weeks. I'm ready. We've been so intense with these shows on Mondays. Sorry we missed last Thursday, but it's been pretty intense. So I'm ready to get something.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Oh boy. This is what happens. We get feedback from wives while we're recording and broadcasting. So. Anyway, do you have something you want to start with?
Yeah.
Because I've got a whole bunch of them.
I've got 3 topics. 2 of them are top 3, and one is just an open-ended discussion.
Oh,
kind of thing, not a top 3.
Let's go. Do you want to go open-ended discussion first?
Yeah,
so we have some time to get into it.
Yeah. You ready?
I'm ready.
It's something. I think it's kind of a hot button issue. Maybe. Do you tip at a coffee shop?
Ooh. Boy,
yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. See.
That's a good question. I'm a tipper. For some reason it's just me and the way I am. But it's that I think I will never tip at Starbucks. I don't think I have ever tipped at Starbucks. A lot of it has to do with whether it is a local small
like
type
a mom and pop.
Yeah.
Thing, yeah.
So if I'm in Camas at Squeeze and Grind, shout out to Squeeze and Grind there in Camas. I'll put a link in for you guys as well. I'll always tip there. Same thing if I go to Cafe Piccolo Paradiso, I think it is, in downtown Camas. If I go down there, I usually will tip. But if it is any big name, especially if I'm going through, what the hell is that, Dutch Brothers or Bros or whatever they call it, I get that they want to have they have captured the young kid market.
They are amped up there.
They are more. It's like they're snorting lines of Colombian Bam Bam right off the counter.
Yeah.
And how many people does it? And I understand they have 800 cars in the parking lot or in the drive-thru at all times. So, got to give them props for their business model. They're doing it well. 8,000 calorie, 48 ounce mocha perca latte shots in the double dark. They've got it.
Yeah.
Okay, for $19. But I'm not tipping them because they're screaming at me over usually music I actually kind of like, which I'm sure it just drives you bananas.
I just turned my music up in the car ladder.
Oh yeah, the Barry Manilow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so what do you think? Are you big into that?
No, big negative on that. In terms of, I lump it into your sit-down restaurants versus your fast casual fast food. I don't think that business model warrants tipping. That be at any coffee shop, just like you wouldn't if you go to McDonald's and buy a cheeseburger. Exactly, same thing. If you go to McDonald's, if you go to Chipotle, any fast casual fast food element type of restaurant, I do not tip at all. They're there to provide a service. All they're doing is handing you a bag of food. If you're at a restaurant where they're coming to refill your drinks, they're bringing your food to you, they're checking on you, they're doing other stuff, that is a situation where it's expected and the norm to tip. But if all I'm doing is getting a burger and they're just handing me a sack, why do I need to pay them $2 for handing me a sack?
Yeah, I think it's on a larger scale. I would call it a tipping epidemic.
Yeah.
And I think that because you're seeing it. Okay, this is where tipping grinds. I mean, like I said, I usually don't have a problem tipping, especially at restaurants. I'm a minimum 20%.
Yeah, no, I don't mind tipping at restaurants at all.
Yeah, especially if it's good service. I'll go over that. Yeah. But this is where it grinds on me. Is if I buy a lottery ticket and the SOB pays off for $50, maybe even $100, they expect a tip. The people that sold me the ticket, or they're cashing me out. I'm like, look here. You had nothing to do with me risking my money.
Right.
I understand that it is absolutely an idiot tax, and I am willing to pay it occasionally. I don't mind. It's fun. I like to gamble. But, because I would, actually when we lived in Vancouver, I kind of had a little mini mart that I knew the gals that worked there and the guys that worked there and stuff. But they'd give me the stink eye if I didn't tip them $5 for selling me a $50 winner. I'm like, A, you don't know how much I spent to win that $50. Right. You have no idea. B, you ripped a card off and handed it to me.
Yeah.
You didn't provide a service, and that's what tips stand for, to ensure prompt service. Okay, and so you didn't give me any service. You tore it off and handed it to me, and
Right.
you abetted the government in stealing my money because it's an idiot tax.
Yeah.
But I think that you have this. You know, we talk about the youth of America being entitled. I think a lot of it goes to that, and especially in these type of, you know, whether it's fast food restaurants or whatever it is, they think that because they did their job, they're entitled to me giving them a couple bucks.
Yeah. To me, it's like, I almost boil it down to, is if it's a single interaction transaction where, okay, granted the dude takes your money, so that's one interaction. But if they take your money, they hand you an item, you're done. There's no need for a tip.
No.
If you're sitting down at a restaurant and they come to refill your drink 3 or 4 times, they clear the table for you, they, you know, bring you dessert, you know, they come back and take your order for dessert, all that kind of stuff, that is okay for tipping because they're giving you service, they're interacting with you multiple times over a long course of time, you know, half hour, an hour, whatever. But not at a walk-up fast food place or a drive-through where you just talk into a speaker box, you pull up, they hand you the food, you're gone. What do I need to tip for that for?
Yeah, and I haven't seen that so much in a drive-through. Although, okay, here's one that's in the middle. What about a place like Subway?
No.
They create your food for you in front of you, and they have a tip jar sitting out there.
Oh yeah, everybody
and
does.
they even, and they even have a on the slip, they have a tip thing on it. Or at Ichi down here,
Yeah.
they have a place on the slip there. I'm more inclined to give Ichi a tip only because they have some of the highest quality Japanese food, and even within all of the Ichi system, it's probably the best one. I know it's the best one I've ever eaten out of Ichi. And when it comes to fast, you know, I guess mid-range dining, they do some of the best. They bring the food to you. They're cooking it as you order it.
Mm-hmm.
So occasionally I will tip there, but not very often.
Yeah, no. The other thing that's more of a fence kind of issue is if you go to a restaurant, so maybe Ichi kind of qualifies, but if you go to a sit-down restaurant and do a takeout order, do you tip? Because there's no waiter serving you, filling your drinks, bringing you your food. All you did was call in your order to Chinese takeout joint, go show up, you wait there for a few minutes, they bring the bag out to you, you're gone.
Okay,
So it's almost like a fast food type of situation because you're not really getting serviced at all.
Now, what if, because most places now have gone to this system of tips where they share them amongst the cooks, the servers, the line guys, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And so in that scenario that you just talked about, you've got the cooks that are still doing the same amount of work, but the servers aren't. So where do we fall on that? You know, and I know I'm bringing up, you know, we could continue going down this rabbit hole forever, but you know, I guess to get back to what you were originally saying, the coffee shops, occasionally, you know, and I think that pricing wise, I think they actually may kind of think about that, because if it is let's say a $3.50 coffee, which is, you're getting off light there. And squeezing grain, you can still get a decent coffee for $3.50 that's not just black coffee with cream in it. Excuse me. But if it's, you know, if it's $4, and I'm paying with a 5 or I'm paying with a 20, they're kicking me that dollar. A lot of times I'll drop it in there. Just out of habit, if it is a small place. But I have such a disdain for Starbucks that if I have to go in there, and they're so snobby, I just don't get it. What is it about being a barista that makes them snobby? I don't know. Maybe it's the healthcare.
College degree in English.
Yeah, right.
That's what,
no, you know, it's Greek mythology from the 16th century, and they just don't understand why they haven't found a job yet. Okay, my turn.
Yeah.
You want to keep? Because I can keep going on the tipping game.
Oh no,
because my issue also is the people that say, no, I don't need to tip. Well, I do, if I'm going to go somewhere, and this is it. If I'm going to go somewhere more than once, you had better tip, because when you don't, they remember
you're going to spit in your food.
You are going to catch a loogie in your burger, no doubt, or you know the up the nasal passage into your you know soft drink or something. So no, I think it's a karma thing a little bit like that. So Well, I've got a whole bunch of them here.
Yeah.
On my, I've got. You can't look. Quit looking.
Okay, sorry.
It's not like Christmas.
Put up the blinders.
Yeah, right. Okay, I'm gonna go with my heaven or hell thing that I started a couple weeks ago. That totally was fell flat on its face. Art museums, heaven or hell?
It would have to depend on. I would say mostly a nay on that. I would say it depends on the historical significance. Just so, like when we went to New York when I was, I don't know, it's like 10 years ago, like MoMA, the Modern Museum of Art, stuff that has a legacy to it that is world famous.
Well, it's not. We're not talking about the Louvre or something.
Yeah,
like
right.
That. That is like, okay, you've got to go do that.
Right.
I'm talking about like over in Portland.
Yeah, that's a negative.
Okay,
No.
Me too. Because here's the thing about art for me. I appreciate what people like Bob Ross can do. Okay, but I can't see the beauty in it a lot of times. When I'm out there
Have a little bird.
Right?
Yeah.
I have no idea what.
Oh no, yeah, art is.
It's so subjective that, and especially when you get into abstract art, and like in The Big Lebowski when she's flying on the trapeze and painting, that kind of shit is for real.
Oh yeah.
People think that is good looking.
Yeah.
And I can't figure out why. If I saw the Mona Lisa and I didn't know the historical significance behind it, I'd be like, how drunk was that person when they painted it? It just doesn't work.
No.
The same thing with I wouldn't say most sculptures, because some sculptures, if they're a bronze sculpture of something, that's craftsmanship. And
Yeah,
I think
true.
that being an artist and being a craftsman is a little bit different. It's the same thing. Like, I'll even say this: if I saw the Mona Lisa, again, remove all the historical significance, and I saw a chainsaw cut out of a bear, I would say the chainsaw cut out of a bear is much better than the Mona Lisa, because that took hand-eye coordination. You have to be creative. With the Mona
Like the
Lisa,
chainsaw and the ice sculpture.
oh
stuff.
yeah, I think that's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
So for me, again, it's so subjective, and it's like music as well. You think that the music I like is a bunch of clatter, and some guy just pressing,
mashing buttons
exactly,
on the keyboard.
he's just mashing buttons like a 15-year-old playing Fortnite.
Yeah.
But so that's the difference there. But then you have people that get in there just and this is the people that are watching on Facebook. Oh, it's so beautiful. Oh, and what he did over. No, he didn't do shit. That is not a mountain. That looks like a molehill.
Yeah, it cracks me up when people try to analyze stuff like that.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like get over yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
You have an art history degree from the Evergreen State College that doesn't believe in grades.
Yeah.
Okay, granted, you paid them $100,000 for that, but that does not mean that what you think of that art, just to justify that art degree you have or your own significance, does not mean that shit's pretty.
Right. Yeah.
I'm sorry I cussed a few times here, but this is just...
No, yeah, I'm definitely not an art museum guy at all.
Yeah.
At all.
No, I can't get behind this. So we've got heaven or hell. We both agree art museums are hell.
Yep.
Okay, what's up next for you?
So this is music related. Since you brought up music, we'll segue into music here. Your top 3 guilty pleasure artists.
Hey,
so you're embarrassed to say that you like them.
Oh, okay.
Because you'll get flamed if anybody knows about it. But artists that you like that you're kind of embarrassed to admit.
See, I'm not a James Taylor guy, and a lot of people would get behind that. This is where I would say, I'm going to give you my number 3 and maybe 2 and 1, because I'm going to need some time to think. But I know number 3.
Okay.
I'm a diehard Yankee fan. But damn it, Neil Diamond's...
Yeah.
Okay, what song is it?
Sweet Caroline.
Sweet Caroline.
Yeah.
I freaking love that song. So that is... And otherwise, Neil Diamond's music, I couldn't care less about.
Okay.
But Neil Diamond, Sweet Caroline, it's blasphemy that a Yankee fan would get behind that. But that would be my number 3.
That dude's good. I like a lot of his stuff, actually. That's my mom's favorite artist, so I grew up with him because that's my mom's favorite.
Oh, okay.
He's my mom's favorite artist. Number 3, which is probably no surprise to you, is Journey.
Yeah.
Love me some Journey. Everybody always loves to flame me about that, but
no, I wouldn't. And again, this is subjective. I don't think Journey is flame worthy. I think they had pretty damn good music. I really do. And so I wouldn't flame you for liking Journey, because the 80s, that was a special time and a special kind of music came out of it. So I wouldn't flame you for that. Like James Taylor again, and he's got some songs that are all right, but I just think that I couldn't get behind his music. I don't enjoy his music, even though he's got some very popular songs and stuff like that.
It's a little too soft for me. A little too Barry Manilow.
Yeah, exactly. So number 2 for me, I don't enjoy Manilow. I would probably... Elton John's got some damn good music.
Yeah.
I'm not big on, his flamboyant lifestyle or anything, but just because wearing feathers around and stuff like that isn't something that I would think would be that fun. But there, if that comes on, Crocodile Rock or whatever comes on at a wedding, you gotta bust a move.
Yeah.
So I would say Elton John. Number 1's going to be a struggle for me, but I'll give Elton John the number 2 nod.
So number 2, I had a hard time trying to encompass everything because it's kind of a genre.
Okay.
Is like the 80s one-hit wonder kind of stuff.
Oh, like Milli Vanilli and stuff? Milli Vanilli,
right there.
yeah!
Right there, yes. So,
see, great minds always think alike.
Exactly. So I love me some Milli Vanilli.
Me too. I have their album.
CD. Yep.
It was one of the first tapes?
Yeah.
Yes, kids, tapes. That I ever bought. I used to ride around on my 10-speed with my headphones on, just blaming on the rain. Oh, it was...
Girl, you know it's true.
You do know it's
that's
true,
right.
Girl.
So, yeah. So, anything... And I wrote Milli Vanilli down especially, but anything 80s-wise... And not Milli Vanilli was more than a one-hit wonder. They had a few hits, but especially like the one-hit wonders. I always dig that kind of stuff. It's just like... This thing just was one song blew up and then they just disappeared. It's like the weirdest phenomenon.
What was the who in the heck? There's so many like that. And they all show up at weddings. Yeah. Because they're all like these cool dance hits and stuff like that. There was one it wasn't, I don't know, it was I'm not going to try to remember right now, but no, there were so many songs like that. I can completely get behind that as well. So, this is Wes and I, coming out in front of everyone, liking our 80s, wedding hits. So, actually, Tia just wrote in on, now Jimmy Buffett, there's nothing wrong with Jimmy Buffett. He is amazing. Are you serious?
It's Barry Manilow.
Oh, come on Ganja. Wow.
Oh, look. Oh, here we go. Yeah, see?
Okay. I'll give you that one. You just nailed it. Thank you, Tia. You nailed it for me. New Kids on the Block. I probably had more than one of their albums, and I have The Right Stuff on one of my playlists right
tough.
Now. Oh, yeah. No, because that was on their second album.
Well, look at you. I don't even know.
Oh, that. Yeah. No. Absolutely.
You got the whole discography.
No. I don't have that. I do. I have an affinity for some boy bands. I will say that.
Yeah, and that's not on my list, but her second one that she put, Backstreet Boys, same kind of deal. I never liked any NSYNC stuff.
Oh no!
But some of the Backstreet Boys stuff I dig.
Yeah.
And the reason she mentions that is because New Kids and Backstreet Boys did a joint concert tour.
They did?
Like a few years ago.
Oh,
and it's awesome. MTV Live. They did it all over the place, but they filmed their London concert, and it's on MTV Live. They play it like once a week at least. I'm
gonna beat all of that with. Actually, I just came up with my number.
Okay.
One. Color Me Bad.
Wow.
This is okay. This is one of those sit down. I'm embarrassed to mention it. The only football practice I ever missed in all of high school was for a Color Me Bad concert. So, I said I like in KOTB and all that. I went to them at the Oregon State Fair.
Yes.
That's when you know you're big. You're playing the LB Day Amphitheater at the Oregon State Fair. So Color Me Bad, number one. Yeah, I liked it, man. I'm gonna own it. Even as a 41-year-old man here, if you rocked it, I'd probably be able to sing it.
Number one for me is Pink.
Oh, okay.
And
she's an amazing musician.
after, because we have a concert DVD of hers, and the performance. I mean, it's not only does she have a spectacular voice, but the theatrics. And it's like a Cirque du Soleil show that she puts on, because she's got acrobats. She's got like 75 people on stage with her. It's crazy, the production value. Not to mention her vocal quality, and then it's not like a lot of these like boy band kind of stuff where they have just all dancers and it's synthesized music. She's got a full band behind her with violin, upright bass, drummer, guitarist, like 2 different keyboard, a guy on a grand piano and a chick on a keyboard. She's got like just tons of musicians behind her putting out real music, not synthesized stuff.
And see that I would, if you're a legit, and that's why I'm not going to throw James Taylor under the bus completely, because if you're a legit musician and you have talent like Pink does, she may be top 40 and things like that. She is an amazing singer. I mean, I don't know about a musician, but she has incredible talent. It's not something that's been produced in a studio.
Right.
And she proved that at the Super Bowl when she was sick.
Yes.
And she
Sore
rocked
throat,
it.
Yeah.
And so, no, I have an appreciation for that. You know, the new kids, the Color Me Bads, all them. That was a money grab for producers that saw pretty faces.
Yeah.
They did not have faces for radio like us. They had faces for stages. So, no, I wouldn't flame you on that one either. So I don't think you actually. I think I have way more flame-worthy musical interest than you do. But that's not hard to believe considering the type of music I like. All kinds of music. So, okay, next up for me on the freestyle here. Get down to my notes here. Let's see. Okay. This one, this is a hot button discussion one. Spiders, good for the earth or ban them all? Are you scared of spiders?
I'm not scared of them, but if they breach the doorway, they're gone.
See, I actually have a special place in my heart for most of them. I don't have an issue with spiders. I'm not.
If you're laying in bed at night and you see one like right above your head on the ceiling.
No, yeah. If he's up on the ceiling, no, I don't care. If he's near me. Like, when we go to Brahm's cabin up in the at Merrill Lake, you can hear the spiders up there are like mosquitoes in Alaska. You damn near carry you away. And it's an A-frame, and you can hear them because, like I said, it's an A-frame, and the bed that I sleep in is right next to it, right next to what would be the roof. And you can hear those SOBs running up and down that thing. That, because they're horse spiders.
Yeah.
That is a little creepy, but it's not something I lose my sleep over. No. This is what I will say when I hate spiders. I was mowing the lawn here last week, and I got into a patch where I saw 2 or 3 honking spiders. Big old nasty. They look like they had, tribal tattoos on a frat boy on their back. And the problem is that as soon as I saw them, I walked right through 3 webs in my face.
Oh yeah, that's the worst.
For 30 minutes, I was like a tweaker on a lawnmower, because then you feel them. They're not there, but I know that big ass black widow is sitting on my back, just laughing at me, ready to kill me. So no, I don't have that big of an issue with spiders. I'm not scared. Now my friend Wade. He is like a little girl. When he sees them, I'm not kidding. I take pictures and send them to him of spiders, and he doesn't like it, and that's why it's funny. But no, I actually appreciate spiders because they kill a lot of a lot of other nasty stuff. Yeah. So no, I get behind spiders.
I like it when they're outside the window and I can watch them build the web, and then a moth flies into it and they sick them. That kind of, you stay on your side of the glass, I'll stay on mine. That's what I say. If you breach the doorway, you're done. Okay. You stay out there, you're cool. I
don't understand how they can build those 19-foot webs that go, across the gate 15 times overnight. You're like, I just walked through this last night, and now this SOB's got this, and I'm caught in it, and he's ready to eat me.
Yeah, it's amazing the webs that they can produce in a short amount of time. Yeah. Very nice.
Yes. What's your next top three?
My last one is going to be the top 3 movies that you quote the most. Like in everyday conversation, you drop a movie quote. What are the top your big go-to movies that you pull quotes from?
You want me to start or you want to?
Go ahead.
Because I know number 3 will be Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
One of the greatest movies in the history of mankind. It's just absolutely incredible.
Your wife's not watching anymore. She shouldn't hear you say that.
I know, she'd probably flame me for that because she hates that movie and she doesn't understand that it is a theatrical masterpiece. But no, it's phenomenal. That's my number 3 for sure.
Number 3 for me, Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh yes, that had its time. It ran its course for me. Wow. Yes. Napoleon. I in fact, gosh, I pull that one out every once in a while. That one's or Tots, because Brandon has a friend named that his nickname is Tater Tots or Tater Tot, because he always wears brown khaki pants and he's short. Yeah. So I call him Totski, and give me some tots. Yeah. So I use that one.
All right.
Okay, number 2 for me is going to be Old School. It's actually, I'm going to give it a 2A and 2B because Wedding Crashers is right there. Because number 1 is so far ahead of number 2, 3, and 4. So I'm going to give Wedding Crashers and Old School the second billing.
Number 2 for me is Office Space.
Oh, yes. That's a good one.
So many classic lines.
John C. McGinley was actually on Dan Patrick this morning.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, and he was in Office Space. He was one of the Bobs.
Yep.
He was phenomenal in that.
Yeah, there's just endless lines that I pull out of that one.
Yeah, number 1 is going to be The Hangover.
Yeah.
It's just an amazing film. And it was one of those movies that the reason I love it so much is that it caught us all off guard. I didn't see it. I think I saw it in the theater, but it was a long time after it had come out.
I think that was the same with TNI. I think it was like several weeks after it came out when we went to go see it finally.
Well, we had heard people were like, because it looks, the trailers look kind of stupid and stuff like that. And I was like, I'll see it. Because Super Troopers, and I've got a cadre of movies that I pull quotes from because about half of my vernacular is based on movie quotes. I'm that type of guy. But so there's, you got Super Troopers and Step Brothers. Step Brothers may be one of the best written films I've ever seen in my life. It's another masterpiece. But The Hangover, Zach Galifianakis was incredible.
Absolutely right.
What do you got for number 1?
Number 1 for me, and this is a hat tip to Holly because she'll dig it too, is Caddyshack.
Yep.
Love Caddyshack.
Got all that one.
Yeah. It's just the knowing what I know now after the fact that between Bill Murray and Chevy Chase and a lot of their interactions between each other, that it was all ad-libbed. I mean, to be able to do that kind of stuff and just run with something and have it become a movie with basically no script for a portion of it, you're just winging it. Oh, that's some insane talent.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely incredible. Yeah. So that's in my top 10. Caddyshack is just such a phenomenal movie. And have you ever seen the making of it or how
on A&E the documentary?
And I mean. Talk about snorting mountains of cocaine.
Oh, yeah.
Holy moly. They tried to, give Pablo Escobar a run for his money on supplying. Yeah. My goodness, that was a good film. But anyway, well, we're just about an hour here. You're about ready to wrap it up? I think we'll, I put together, I get into these little phases where I will think up freestyle topics and then I just spit them all out on paper. So I've got lots to come. So
beautiful.
We'll run with those next show. I do want to give you guys a rundown again, if you missed Monday's show, that on Tuesday we're going to have Brianne Wilson from... Johnson, excuse me, I'm sorry.
Name Wilson here, right?
Yeah, from DeWills. We're going to interview her, and we're going to have a live show for that as well on Facebook. Yes. Right? Mm-hmm. So we'll have... this is going to take place at Wes's parents, who actually have a DeWills kitchen, which is absolutely gorgeous. So we've got that coming up. So on Tuesday, 5 o'clock?
Yeah, 5 p.m. That's
5
correct.
p.m. So get ready for that. We'll have that. And there was a really nice article. You know, we missed Larry last week, but we're going to get him back on in the front page of the Columbian this morning with Larry and his opponent Kathy Gillespie. Oh my goodness! I'm gonna let all you know that my dad just walked up and no shit mooned us, and all of his ass crack. Come here, get on camera. Don't be afraid. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, what a chicken. I cannot believe you just did that. And I haven't eaten dinner yet. You know that? Wow. That's Wes. I mean, look at Wes's face right now. That's about as red as my dad's ass. So anyway, sorry to totally break up a good promo there for a really serious interview we have coming up, but.
Then we got Tracy Dorio in a few weeks.
Yep, Tracy's coming up on the 25th.
I think that's right.
25th. Yeah. That'll be 2 weeks from today, I believe. Am I doing
3 weeks? 3 weeks from today.
From today. So we'll have Tracy on for that. We're going to do some barbecue and we'll have some cocktails for that. So, and then the election night stuff coming up on the 7th. That's going to be a lot of fun. And we're gonna have an announcement on Monday for some stuff too that I'm not quite ready to share yet, but we will have that coming up too. So, Tia, Scarface is not that type of movie. Yes, it's a good movie, but it doesn't have that.
It's
many
not a natural. It's where you just drop in multiple quotes throughout the day.
All. So, anyway, well, this has been Kinetic Chaos podcast number 52. Do you have anything else?
I got nothing.
Well, thank you guys for joining us and gals on Facebook and on the podcast. We will see you on Monday or Tuesday. Thanks for listening.
See you later.
Here we go. I can't. Yeah, he points at it because he wants me to remember it because that is ingrained in my brain now. I cannot believe that. I'm going to turn it off. He did that. He's going to get it. That is some stuff. Bye, guys.
See ya.